Oh, you like that? It's like cleaning out your ears with Q-tips, which you're not supposed to do, so don't do that. Recently, I had someone purchase one of my exclusive Duncan custom airbrushes, but they returned it because they said it was broke. But it's not broke, it's just put together wrong and really dirty. I'm gonna show you how to restore any airbrush that you think is broken. I've had airbrushes for like 15, 20 years. These things keep on kicking and kicking, ticking, licking. There's a watch about that, I don't remember, put it in the comments. So, the first look of this, we're gonna get together. Boom, see what kind of trouble we got into. Oh, they didn't even keep their pin that I send with every airbrush order. Oh, you could have kept that, I don't mind. I'm already seeing some pink paint here, and for some reason, this is really weird, the needle is sticking out of the back. I don't even know how that happens, but we're gonna find out. Previously on this channel, I've done videos, right, this one right here, where I've showed you completely how to take it apart, put it back together, but there was nothing wrong with that airbrush. This airbrush, I have no idea what I'm getting into. I already seeing pink residue inside there, which that always makes me so happy to see dried paint in there, especially when it's, I have no idea what kind of paint this is. They didn't even open up the cleaning kit to clean it. Okay. Oh look, how did this happen? The needle's in, but the trigger's not in, and the needle has to go through the trigger, so there's problem number one right there. First thing I want to see is, why is this airbrush needle so far out? And what I'm doing is taking the end cap off and the needle chuck, and then we're going to pull the needle out. Needle seams, it's in good shape. It's still straight, that's good news. All right, we're taking the whole thing apart. Let's bring it down so you can see a little bit more what's going on with this action. Now, I will say this, that I'm always bummed when someone doesn't figure out the airbrush and it gives them so much trouble that they just basically give up. And I tried reaching out to this person and helping them out. They just wanted to return it. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I will say, the mystery of cleaning this and trying to get this, not knowing what it is, kind of exciting in a weird way. So we got all that apart. You can see in there, oh, there's some stuff happening in there. I don't even know what though. Oh, hey, give me some light, loser. There we go, so we're gonna clean all that out. Wow, I don't even know what's going on. Let's check out the tip here. There's two pieces, yep, some stuff caked up on the end there, it's not a problem. It does still have the O-rings, so that's good news. Sometimes you lose those when you don't know that they're there and you take stuff apart, but that's good. This wasn't even taken off, it looks like. And then pink residue on the outside. We're gonna start with what cleans water-based the best, and that's Windex. So get a few, so I'm almost out, dang it, what the heck. Try to do a video here and you're out of Windex. So we're just gonna squirt some of that in there and give a little scrub-a-dubba, you know what I'm saying? Just clean it real good. It's really, like literally, there's nothing else left to this thing when you take it all the way apart like that. You need a skinnier one to fit through there, sir. Here we go. Oh, you like that? It's like cleaning out your ears with Q-tips, which you're not supposed to do, so don't do that. I don't know why people do that. There we go. We're getting some traction here. All right, so let me explain what this is. This is just like pipe cleaners, but they're a little more rigid, I guess you'd say. And then you have the one that has nothing, and that is for where your needle can go all the way through, because the channel that goes all the way through is literally only big enough for the needle because it seeds around it with the little gasket in there, or O-ring, or whatever you call it. This is the size to clean out that. So there you go. And the bigger ones are good for cleaning out this, and then the other sizes for the needle tip chamber, whatever. I don't know what the technical terms are. Hey, I just use the airbrush. I'm not like an airbrush scientist, but wow, that is looking better already. That might be all that needed for this thing. Holy cow. And of course, properly putting it together the right way, in the right order. Like if you take it apart, there's a lot of parts here. It can be overwhelming, but I do have a video that shows exactly how to take it apart, clean it, and put it back together. And as well as this video, we're gonna do the same thing. Let's get a little rag here and give us a little polish here. It's literally nothing on the rag. I'm just polishing out with Windex. That's all. I like to take my little pinky, because it is the smallest finger I have that'll fit in the thing here. And like, you know, when you get out of the shower, and you put the towel in your ear and you're, oh, that's so nice. You know, that's what I'm doing right here. And the airbrush loves that when you do that. If you do that, the airbrush will be your friend forever. Let's put this bad boy back together. Let me get one more look in here. Oh, there we go. So the first thing you do is you put the trigger back on, and you see this little floppy thing right here. A lot of people think, oh, it's broke, but there is you see that little hole right there? This goes in that hole because what that little floppy thing does is when you push it down, it pushes your air valve right here and triggers the air to flow through. And you have to let gravity help you out with this bad boy because it's a floppy little booger. That's why you can't see me do it on camera as much, because I'm trying to look through the camera and aim it, and it's like, I should just look by the side. There, did I get it? Nope, yep, there we go. Here we go. All right, I got the trigger in. It seems to be there's a problem, oh, focus, loser, with this trigger because it's not going up and down. And it could be that there's some paint got lodged under the trigger in there. So I'm gonna take and clean that out real quick. And while we're at it, I'm gonna go ahead and take this out and check the function of the spring, which you can't get to the spring, but you can check and see if there's any action in it like this. So when you push the trigger down, it supposedly pushes this, which pushes this out and opens the valve for the air to flow through. And that all seems to be working very nicely, nice and clean, actually, looks good. So let's put that back together. Put our little trigger back in there. This is the hardest part of the whole thing, is the trigger. Just trying to finagle that little dangly thing. I'm gonna call it an airbrush uvula into that little hole in there. Oh yeah, there we go, baby. And before we get it all put back together, we got the trigger back on. Give it a little test bump. Oh, so nice. And while I had it apart, since I had the trigger out, I did go ahead and take this little sharpen air thing and shove it in there and polish it, and which can only help. So now all we have to do is put it back together. Now sometimes you will get through all this and put it back together and it still won't be working as you would have anything, taking it apart and putting it back together again. Sometimes you don't get it right the first time. So we're gonna put, the first step is to put our needle in. And sometimes I like to put it in backwards because I don't like pushing through with the needle thing. But for this one, we'll just put it in the regular way. Make sure you go through that little slot opening in the trigger. And if you remember, there's a little hole, just the slightest bit of pressure. And then there you go, there comes the needle. Don't force it, never force it. You just wanna give the slightest amount of pressure, because if you force it, guess what you'll do? You'll bend the little needle, and then you'll be spraying sideways and never have a good chance of doing any good airbrushing. All right, we got that on. We got this on. Make sure, wait a minute, I see some pink in here. We gotta clean this out, but to clean this, I'm gonna take this off so we don't lose it. This one doesn't normally come off. There's another O-ring right there. Just helps seal for when the air and paint comes out, you have a good flow. But we're gonna clean this out real good. And this one is the best to use an old airbrush needle, preferably one that's not bent. So I'm gonna go somewhat straighten this up so that I could poke it through the tiny little needle opening right there. You see there's some pink right there on the chalked up in there. So we're gonna get rid of that real quick. All right, now here's a little bonus that I didn't know we were gonna do, and we're just going to straighten this needle up, because I feel like that is a very valuable thing to know how to do. And there's one way to do it where you could just eyeball straighten it up with some needle nose pliers, which is what you have to do to begin the process anyway, but you could stop at that. Maybe you're a really good eyeballer at getting it. Just get that as straight as you can with a needle nose. Remember, be gentle. These things are fragile. I think they're Italian. So major award. All right, now that is not perfect, but this will be good enough to do the trick that this will finish off. So you see I've had mine for a long time. Sharpen air little tool. And what you do is, I don't even have the instructions anymore. But, so essentially what you do is there are different grits and different angles as you go. You put in the first one. Geez, looking through the camera. Stop looking through the camera, look beside the camera. Shove it in there. You give it about medium pressure. give about 15 to 100, no, I'm just kidding, it says about 15 to 20 as if I remember correctly, rotations. And then, you know, spin it around. This is number 1. Now, I don't know why they're not numbered or labeled. I don't know. This thing's old, so let's check it. Let's see, how's it look? It's already looking better, honestly. If you don't have one of these sharpeners, I do have replacement needles for my Duncan Custom Airbrush on the website, because you can't just shove any old needle back into your airbrush. It has to be the right size and the right diameter. Like mine's a 0.3 millimeter, and sometimes airbrush needles are longer, and you'll have that where they stick out the end. Like this one wasn't supposed to because it wasn't all the way in there, but you get what I'm saying. Station number 2, I totally lost count. How many did I do? You wasn't counting either? Oh, what the heck. That was number 2. Let's go to number 3. Hey, listen, I've been racking my brain for ideas lately while we're sharpening this. Why don't you give me some comments of what ideas for videos that I can make for you that would help you the most? What do you struggle with? What would you like to learn? If you had me for a day or an hour or whatever, what would you want to learn or do? Now here I am again, not even counting. They say you can get off with going back 1, 2, 1, 2, and maybe not even need 3, 4, but I just like going through all the steps. I feel like they're there for a reason, so you might as well do all the steps, right? Let's see what we got here. All right, we went through, where you at? There you are. Went through 1 round, and honestly, that's better than I was expecting for it anyway. By the trashness of that needle, this will be plenty good enough just to clean this part out right here, which is what we were just trying to do. Because this is trash needle. I don't even know what airbrush this needle goes to. It's probably one of my old Iwatas, but all we want to do is get it to where it'll go through the end like so and clean it out. We're going to spray some Windex solution in there, and according to what kind of paint, if you know what kind of paint, I start with Windex if I don't know, and then if that doesn't work, there's this thing called Restore made by Createx that works really good for all these types of paints, water-based. And if that doesn't work, you go with the harsh stuff like lacquer thinner or something. But if you use lacquer thinner, here's another little helpful tip for you. All these little O-rings and stuff, if you get lacquer thinner on those, they'll swell up and it won't be good for that. They don't like it. They don't play well together, so there you go. And that little tip, have it angled a little bit so that you feel it scraping the side as you're going around, because sometimes they'll get caked up on the side there. Push it through. This one's looking like it's going to be pretty clean. I didn't even see any stuff come out of it per se. I don't know if you're advised to do this, but what I do is I'll take and put my mouth here and go blow the end out. I don't know if you're supposed to. You probably just blow it through an airbrush or something. What we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and pull the needle back a little more. Got this mug on. Oh, wait a minute, we almost forgot. Hey, where are you going there? Forget this little guy. Not all airbrushes have this one, but mine does. Extra seal for your protection. If it doesn't, and you have a problem with it sealing, you take a little bit of chapstick and put it around there, and then put it on. A little old trick insider hack there for you. If you need that, I'm right-handed, need switch. There we go. All right, now when you get that on, then you gently put pressure on the needle to push it out till you see it come through. Boom, there it is, and you stop. Don't go jamming it through there and forcing it. All it takes is a little bit of little pressure. Boom, there you go. When it stops, you stop, okay? Don't go all pushing all crazy and stuff. And there's pink inside of here still, but I think I'll leave that. I don't really care. That doesn't really make a difference. Oh gosh, I can't leave it. You know, what the heck? Just clean it, bro. Fine. While we're at it, we'll clean this thing out too. This part, what the heck? And on my airbrush, you can see there's a little O-ring here as well to watch out for, to make sure you don't lose it. I include an extra one in every pack. One of the first times I used it, I was cleaning it and I lost it. I was like, holy crap, I need to send another one in case that happens to someone who buys my airbrush. I try to look out for you guys, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's clean as a whistle. How's a whistle clean? I don't know, it just comes out of your mouth. All right, next step. Now, and you can do this, sometimes it's easier to do this before because you have to hold this, push it through there, and you have to finagle it. Your goal is to get this little handly piece up through this behind the trigger. So sometimes that's hard with the needle in. Sometimes you can finagle it around. Sometimes people have trouble. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. And I may just take the needle back out to do this because I can't even see. There's a camera in my way. Let's just go ahead and take that out. Gently, gently put it in. That way you can put it in at an angle and see how much easier that was. You can flop that bad boy right up. Just don't let it fall down before you start easing the needle in. Nice and easy. And then through the middle of the trigger there. And then again, back to easy through, boom, done. Now, before you go any further, it's a good idea to put your needle cap on to protect your nice, straight, pointy needle. That's the purpose of that right there. The next thing, and since we have the spring out, the one thing I like to do to give me a little better trigger action, gently tug on this and give it a nice little stretch. Most brand new airbrushes I do this with because they come from the factory a little tight. And even Iwatas and everything else, the pros will suggest that you just give a little stretch, give you a little more action, a little better response on your back and forth action on the airbrush. Then put this little thing in, whatever it's called. And you don't have to go super tight on it. Just go that so that it's inside the chamber part. You know, like I said, don't go super tight. And then this guy, the needle chuck, there's only one way it can go to where it can screw onto here. Tighten that bad boy up. Give yourself a little test here. There you go, look at that. That's a thing of beauty there. And then the cap cover, and you see the needle goes in here, and watch this. It's not shoving out the back anymore. That's amazing. All right, so, oh, look at that. Look, it won't pull back. Do you know what the problem is? Somebody has tightened this mug all the way down. And you're never gonna get any paint out of there because if you tighten this governor all the way down, you can't pull back. So loosen that bad boy up. Give it some room to breathe. I don't even know, like the only reason this thing is here is if you can't stop yourself, like you just want to pull back just a little bit, but I like to wind mine all the way out. That way when I pull it all the way back, it can go back as far as it wants to. And everybody's happy, right? The last thing is hook this bad boy up to the battery pack, which comes with 2 batteries, I might add, for your longevity airbrushing pleasure. Let's see if this one's got some juice. Oh yeah. We will untie the hose and hook it up. Oh, there's even pink on here. With the trigger not on and putting paint in it, it's definitely gonna go down the air chamber areas. Give that a quick little clean. Now I'm not gonna spray cleaner down in here. I mean, unless it's like super bad, but I can't even imagine like how that would even happen. But hey, you know, sometimes some things, you never know. We are good. Notice there's 2 different ends. It is a male part, goes in the female part here. And then this part here goes in to the bottom of the airbrush. Look how simple that is, right? Turn on the air, charges up, press the button, boom. Well, now the final test. I hate to because I already got this thing so clean, but we're gonna put some paint in it and make sure all of our efforts weren't in vain, okay? And of course I could put water in here to test it, but we're gonna use the old Createx Wiki. Oh, this illustration, same difference. Shaken, not stirred. A drop or 2, not much, doesn't take much at all. And a little bit reducer. This was 4011, 4012, 4020, I don't know, they're all the same. There's something different about them, I just don't know what it is. And the best way to do this is to stir it with a paintbrush. That's the way I like to do it. And if I was doing this for a project, I'd put a drop of the 4030, which helps it flow better and all that good stuff. Cap on, always put the cap on. Safety. Oh, look, it's that like a dream. Like it was never corroded with whatever was holding it up. Look at that. Look at that, look at that. Oh, so beautiful. Oh, and of course I do have this a little bit too much reduced, but you'll play with that. This is really good if you're doing like some nice gradient shadowage. Very soft, gentle shadow. You thought that was a real shadow right there, didn't you? All right, so now I just listed my final 10 airbrushes on the website right now. Go grab it before they get gone. I also have replacement needles If you bend your needle, you don't have a straightener, just go grab another one. So I hope you got value out of this. Give you confidence to get your airbrush back working in tip-top shape, because you can do this. And if you want to refine further your airbrushing skills, you're going to want to check out this playlist right here. But if not, perhaps you'll like this one, because YouTube thinks that this will be the best fit for you. This video right here. Until next time, God bless and goodbye.